Hi guys, welcome back and hello if you are new. So first of all, I'm super sorry for being so late with this album review. It's been a insanely hectic week, month actually. June has just been like nothing but festival shows and things like that, and obviously I'm super grateful for everything. I got to see Billie Eilish, I've been to Download Festival, Slam Dunk, Meshuggah, but it's really starting to take its toll a little bit, and I've just been absolutely knackered. We also went to see Stereophonics in Cardiff over the weekend, so it's just been hard to try and kind of fit all of the reviews around that. So that's why this is a little bit late, but I promise that it is worth the wait because the album I'm going to be talking to you about today is from a band called White Ward and their excellent new release, False Light. So if you're not familiar with White Ward, they are a Ukrainian band that I completely kind of stumbled on, courtesy of YouTube actually, on their Love Exchange Failure album, which is, it's got a beautiful, like really striking artwork of a cityscape. And honestly, I couldn't have been more excited about this band. I started telling loads and loads of people that I knew. So I was really excited when they announced that they had a brand new album coming out. They take the best elements of black and death metal, intertwine it with jazz and, instruments that you would find normally in jazz, like trumpet, saxophone, and double bass, and then add in kind of a dash of goth just for good measure, Sisters of Mercy, that kind of Joy Division almost, kind of The Cure as well. So this is their third record and was inspired by Intermezzo, which is a 1908 novel by a Ukrainian writer called Mikhail Kotsubinski, inspired by pieces by Jack Kerouac and also Carl Jung. And thematically, this album discusses a lot of, very modern day topics. You've got, things that range from domestic abuse and police brutality to environmental catastrophes, government sanctioned murders, modern mainstream culture, overconsumption. These are very kind of pertinent, I think. And with that in mind, it's a very poignant record, and I think one that you can't necessarily sort of duck in and out of, and it demands quite a lot of attention. The songs on the album are pretty long and often kind of meander and, kind of flirt with that idea of progressive. False Light, the title track, is a perfect example of that. It's about a 13-minute song and moves through so many different ideas in that 12 minutes, but it doesn't necessarily feel over bloated or, that it's kind of just music for the sake of music. Cronus, for example, I thought was a really interesting track because there are sections on here that wouldn't go amiss out of like The Smiths or The Cure or Sisters of Mercy, kind of as I mentioned before. But then it's kind of replaced by this scathing black metal all the same. But then on Phoenix, there's these kind of synthesizers that are put in place that reminded me of, classic A Nightmare on Elm Street, Fabio Frizzi, kind of, Stranger Things as well, I guess. I like the fact that they're experimenting with even more this time because correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there were any synthesizers at all on Love Exchange Failure. So the record really does go straight for the jugular in the form of Leviathan, which is a 13-minute track, and it's very uncompromising, very heavy at times as well. And whilst atmosphere is clearly the aim of the game in a lot of this sort of respect, that doesn't necessarily mean that the band have sacrificed any of that incredibly heavy sound that they've been able to cultivate. Personal highlights have to be the track Leviathan, silent circles, which, like, that riff that they have in there reminds me of kind of like a Melodeath riff. And then you've also got the battering ram section of Cronus as well. And in truth, the ability of, what they've been able to put forward here, the sort of spoken word sections, the more late night jazz, the synthesizers, it just kind of it goes to show that I think White Ward are creating kind of an arsenal of all this stuff that they can actually be capable of. And they're not actually afraid to experiment and be different. And I think that's always one of the things for me personally that references an album of the year, in much of a sense. It could be that it's different from the previous works, or it could be different from anything that you've heard this year. But that sense of doing something else that no one else is doing, I think White Ward have got down to a T. And production, I think, is really important, particularly on, something as delicate as this. You need to make sure that everything sounds exactly right, that the crunch comes in when it needs to, but it's also pulled back a little bit when there's synthesizers or, the kind of late night smooth jazz sections. So I think they really, really nailed that. If you're searching for more from contemporary black metal bands, then look no further to White Ward, because I guarantee you this band are going to be on everyone's radars at the end of this year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this album review. Thank you so much for checking it out. As always, I really appreciate all the support. You can check out the album False Light Underneath Me as well. Let me know what you think of the video and the record, and I will see you very, very soon for another album review.
The real core of any sin is disobedience.